They were the last men you wanted to be, the ones carrying fire on their backs, human torches sent in last and often never coming back. On the black volcanic sands of Iwo Jima, Marines had one weapon the Japanese feared most: the flamethrower. It could clear bunkers and caves, but the men who used it rarely survived more than 4 minutes. This is not just the story of a weapon, it's the story of hell itself and the Marines who stepped into it willingly. The island of Stone Iwo Jima wasn't paradise. It was a scar in the Pacific. Just 8 square miles of volcanic rock. Hot, sulfuric, lifeless. No trees, no rivers, no shelter. But to the U.S. military, it was priceless. Halfway between the Mariana Islands and Japan. An emergency runway for bombers. A launch point for escorts. To win the Pacific, America needed Iwo Jima. But Japan was ready. General Tadamichi Kuribayashi had turned the island into a fortress. 11 miles of tunnels, hidden artillery, reinforced pillboxes, steel and concrete carved into the mountain itself. Kuribayashi's goal wasn't victory, it was blood. To make America pay for every inch. The Black Beach, February 19th, 1945. Marines land on black volcanic sand. Boots sink, tanks stall. There's no cover, no trees, just ash. At first, silence. No gunfire, no resistance. Some think the bombardment worked. Then, hell opens. Machine guns rake the beach, mortars rain down, pre-sighted artillery explodes in the surf. Thousands of Marines caught in a trap. There are no front lines, no safe ground. The Japanese had built a battlefield designed to kill from below. The pillbox nightmare inland, it only gets worse. Pillboxes reinforced with steel. Gun ports hidden, overlapping. Kill zones designed with precision. Clear one bunker, and enemy soldiers crawl back through tunnels to retake it. Marines weren't fighting men, they were fighting ghosts. Traditional weapons weren't enough. The only answer was fire. Strapping fire to your back. The M2 flamethrower. 70 pounds of fuel and nitrogen, strapped to a Marine's back like a bomb. 10 seconds of flame. That's all. 30 yards of hell, then empty. And when you ran dry, every enemy gun turned on you. To the Japanese, flamethrower troops were demons. Orders were simple: kill them first. Marines begged their squad mates, "If I'm captured, shoot me." Because everyone knew what happened otherwise. Even when it worked, the memories broke men. The screams, the smell, the faces. It wasn't just war, it was moral injury. You weren't shooting from 300 yards. You were burning men alive at 30 feet. From men to machines, casualties soared. More than 90% of flamethrower operators were killed, so commanders made a choice: replace men with tanks. The M4A3R3 Sherman Zippo, a flame tank. Where a Marine had 10 seconds of fire, the Sherman had 300 gallons. Where the M2 could reach 30 yards, the Sherman blasted nearly 100. The effect was devastating. Entire Japanese positions surrendered at the sight of flame tanks. Others fled into smoke. But every Sherman was a target. Mines, suicide charges, explosives. Crews risked burning alive in steel coffins. Still, they pushed forward, because fire worked where nothing else could. One Marine against the Inferno. February 23rd, 1945. While Marines raised the flag on Mount Suribachi, another battle raged below. Private First Class Herschel Woody Williams received a mission no one wanted: destroy a nest of pillboxes pinning down his company. With 4 men covering him, 2 killed almost instantly, Woody crawled forward with his flamethrower. He reached the first pillbox, shoved the nozzle into an air vent, pulled the trigger. A blast of fire, screams, then silence. He didn't stop. 1 pillbox, then another, then another. 7 in total. When his tank ran dry, he sprinted back for more fuel. At one point, he turned a charging soldier into a figure of flame. By the end, Woody had cleared the way for his entire company. For this, he became the only flamethrower operator in World War II awarded the Medal of Honor. He lived until 2022, but even in his final years, he admitted he remembered little of the battle. Maybe his mind chose to forget. The legacy of fire. Of the 335 flamethrower operators sent to Iwo Jima, Only 18 returned alive. Those who survived never forgot. Some drank, some stayed silent. Many carried guilt heavier than the tanks they once wore. The U.S. retired flamethrowers in the 1970s, not because they didn't work, but because they worked too well. By 1980, international treaties restricted incendiary weapons. Fire had become a symbol of war's darkest edge. Iwo Jima was captured, the flag rose, the Pacific War moved forward. But for the men who carried fire on their backs, victory came at a cost. History rarely tells, because some weapons scar the enemy, others scar the soul, and some burdens burn forever.